Yo, welcome back to another trade recap for today. This is day 53, if I recall, of the road getting my first payout. Took another loss today. Well, a loss today. The loss was about, I'll say it, 800. Yeah, 830, which brings the whole account 149. It's okay. I honestly was testing something out, and well, thankfully I did understand what was I the thing that I was testing. I now get it. Other than that, I mean, yeah, I took a loss to the upside at first. Honestly, as you guys will see on the live um trade, I honestly didn't want to take no trades because we was at all-time highs on NQ and on ES, both of the charts. But once we actually got higher, we started to go into a downtrend. We inverse this 15-minute fair value gap on NQ and on ES. So we inverse it, but I honestly was late to the trade. I could have taken, if I recall, yeah, 10:30. Yeah, I could have. Oh, let me back this up. Let's see if start new. Back this up. Oh yeah, never mind. Okay. So since we did inverse this 15-minute fair value gap, we also inverse another 15-minute fair value gap, but stopped on the last track, on the last fair value gap once we liquidate, believe it's London. Yeah, we did liquidate, we did swept London lows, as well as on, no, we didn't. We did it on NQ. We did on the S, creating a SMT divergence, as well as on NQ. We didn't inverse this 30-minute fair value gap, and instead we respected it on NQ by closing above this 5-minute high. Close above that, we close above this 5-minute fair value gap, which is awesome. Now I was honestly just waiting for some kind of retracement, which this is where I messed up, and also wanted to experiment with the market, because on NQ we didn't close above the recent 5-minute highs, but on ES we did. But I figured it out that it doesn't really matter, as long as obviously my as long as we already had a proper retracement and we have a, what's it called, a confirmation to go up, and as well as on a chart respecting this the fair value gap, the I mean the 5-minute, the previous 5-minute highs. So I mean, yeah, we created equilibrium. We didn't fill it out, but instead we only wicked it, and this is where I fucked up too. In order for me to enter, well, not that I realize it, in order for me to obviously enter, would have been, to close above previous 1 minute highs, which would have been this one, but we didn't. Either we had to close above this 5 minute, or let market do its thing and close above, obviously, the high that it will provide. Honestly, would have needed to wait it for us in order for this fair value gap to be real fair value gap and not get inverse like we did. We needed to close beneath this 1 minute, well, technically it's 5 minute high, and honestly would have waited for equilibrium, 1 minute equilibrium, for a better risk to reward ratio. Enter and press long, but I didn't. Again, I was honestly experimenting. Once we actually touched this fair value gap and we didn't inverse it, I enter once we inverse the 1 minute, place my stop loss beneath previous 5 minute lows, which correct is this one. Well, honestly, it would have been this one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, yeah, that's where I also messed up. Not going into the 5 minute. But other than that, yeah, enter once we inverse the 1 minute fair value gap. And honestly, we started going down. We went into, obviously, take into profit zone. But once we actually closed this candlestick, I should have taken it out, not only because we didn't close. Again, for this fair value gap to be considered respected, we have to close right here, as well as this one. In order for it to be respected, we had to wait for this, and obviously we didn't, bringing market down. Now, that was the trade that I took. A better trade would have been this. Obviously, since we didn't respect it, we didn't close above the 5 minute fair value gap. We inverted, okay, that's fine, because we haven't even touched equilibrium yet. Touch equilibrium, and obviously I didn't take this trade because it was past the time, but honestly I wanted, like, I really, 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 really wanted to take this trade, but thankfully I stayed disciplined. I would have won, but it's just not on my contract, you feel me? Like, I cannot trade past 11. Well, in this time, yeah, I cannot trade past 12, which this setup required us to go past that time. Honestly wanted to trade this, but honestly, thankfully, and honestly, I think I did the right move. I don't think, I believe so. I know so that that I did the right move by not taking this trade, even though we would have won. Once again, let's get back into topic. Once we touch the equilibrium again, and not only that, not only that, did we inverse this? No, we didn't. We didn't inverse it. Yeah, we didn't inverse it. Yeah. But on NQ we did. Not only that, again, in order for us to obviously get back up, we need to break structure. which we closed beneath this 5 minute high, which that tells us that okay, we are going higher, as well as on ES we actually didn't. We didn't inverse it, and we didn't close above this, but we did on the on this one, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, I would have waited for a 1 minute equilibrium, and as you guys can see, since since we wouldn't have actually hit it. Okay, so since we actually didn't touch the equilibrium on the 1 minute, here is the setup that I was looking for. Us closing above previous highs, which in this case would have been the 1 minute, which if which needed to wait for something like this right here, but it didn't happen so it didn't happen. So, but on this time it did happen, even though we didn't hit this final fair value gap. We respected this fair value. We respected this fair value gap by closing above previous highs, which means we are going to go up. So I would have, where is it? Replay, start new. So it would have been like this. Would have long stop loss beneath this 1 minute and aim for obviously this high, this 15-minute high, and nothing else, because again, we have this fair value gap, and also it's Friday, so I mean, don't expect a lot of volatility on Fridays, but this would have been it. And we would have been for a 2 risk reward ratio. Other than that, yeah, that was the ideal trade for today. That's gonna be it for today. Also, for today's trade recap, this was day 53 of my road getting my first payout. And yeah, we'll back test even more tomorrow. So yeah, other than that, see you guys tomorrow. See ya.